Hi, this is Preston Shepherd again with part 2 of our memorizing the books of the Old Testament. I hope that you got a lot out of the first part and understood that the key to memorizing is associating the thing you want to memorize with a different keyword that will help spark the memory. Also, you want to make it as ridiculous and crazy as possible, just so that you'll have a way to remember it for a long time. And then we're going to use substitute words, and then there's going to be a linking. Every picture has to link directly to the other. So if it's not linking, then it's a good clue that maybe you have forgotten something. And so it's that way you can go forwards or backwards, and it really makes a lot of sense. So we're going to pick up the story right now. We finished the first 12 books of the Old Testament with the 2 crowns, which reminds us of kings. That's 1st and 2nd Kings. They were on 1st and 2nd Samuel, the Siamese twins. So we pick it up with the crowns. Basically, the Siamese twins are bouncing something off of their crowns. Something is touching their crown, and it's basically a newspaper. Now, when I think of newspaper, I lived in San Francisco, so I'm thinking of the San Francisco Chronicle. And that's what reminds us of 1st and 2nd Chronicle. So I want you to picture a newspaper in each hand bouncing off their crown, and that's going to remind us of 1st and 2nd Chronicles. And then what happens is he puts down the paper, and something is kicking that newspaper over and over and over again. It's just kicking. So much so that it's turning red and raw. And I want you to think of a foot, not so much than a hand, but a foot kicking this newspaper, and the toe is raw. And that's going to remind us of the book of Ezra. Ezra. So we have 1st and 2nd Chronicles, and then Ezra. And then you want to trace up the leg of that foot, and you look at their knee. And that's going to remind us of Nehemiah. And then we go, I wonder whose foot and knee this is. And it traces back up, and we see a gigantic Easter egg. And that's going to remind us of the book of Esther. All right, so let's just review what we've got so far. We've got 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, and then the knee is connected to a gigantic Easter egg, and that's going to remind us of Esther. Now I can go backwards on the story. We've got Easter egg, Esther, and then we look down and look at its knee for Nehemiah. We look at its foot, and it's all raw, so that's Ezra, and it's kicking the newspaper, 2nd Chronicles. All right? So now we pick up the story again. Let's go back to the Easter egg. We saw on one side of the Easter egg the leg with the foot kicking the newspaper, the knee. But on the other side of the Easter egg, he's going to be holding a shovel. The shovel reminds us that he's got a job to do. And job is the same way, spelled the same way as the book of Job, just pronounced differently. Okay, so we have Job, and the job is to dig up this tree, all right? And basically I'm going to say it's a psalm tree. And so that reminds us, or a palm tree. We're going to think of psalm. So maybe instead of coconuts up in the tree, you see little books like psalms. You see little books up there, and that reminds us of a psalm tree. But the tree doesn't want to be dug up. So he's getting ready to run off, and we look down at the tree, and we see that he's got a pair of professional shoes, professional tennis shoes, so to speak. I was thinking of maybe Pro Keds. Remember that brand? Pro is the abbreviation for Proverbs. Or you can think of professional, which will be the PRO, an abbreviation for Proverbs as well. So we have Psalm tree, and then we look down at the tree, and on his feet he's got these Pro tennis shoes, so Proverbs. And then all of a sudden, the tree thinks he's going to get away, but all of a sudden he gets tripped up. And basically around his feet, touching the shoes, everything's got a link. Touching the shoes is a gigantic elastic band. I think of elastic because of ecclesiastics. All right, so the elastic band trips him up. And then the next question is, who's holding the elastic band? So everything's got a link. We've got a link, the job, the shovel to the tree, Psalm tree, the tree to the shoes, Proverbs, and then we've got elastic band, and then something's holding the elastic band. It's a singing fish. One of the books in the Old Testament is Song of Psalms. So I think of the song, reminds me of Song of Psalms, and so there you go. And so but the singing fish is jumping out of water, but the water's frozen, so it's just a big slab of ice. So the fish is jumping out of Isaiah. But on top of the ice, so there's got to be a link to the ice, on top of the ice is this gigantic jar for Jeremiah. All right, so think a jar sliding on the ice. Inside of the jar, something's got to connect with the jar. The ice connects to the jar connects to this lamb. There's a lamb inside, and that reminds us of the book of Lamentations. All right, so we have a lamb in a jar that's on ice that a fish is jumping out of, holding the elastic band around the Proverbs, they're on the tennis shoes, that's being worn by the Psalm tree, that's being dug up. The job is the dig it up. The job is the Job, and it's the Easter egg that's holding the shovel. So we can go forwards or backwards. Okay, let's go all the way forwards again. We're at Lamentations, and the lamb is yelling. Actually, the lamb's not yelling. Somebody's yelling at the lamb, and they're saying, "Easy, easy, or you'll get killed." It's going so fast. The lamb is holding on that jar, but he hears something. And what he hears is, "Easy, or you'll get killed." And that reminds us of the book of Ezekiel. And then we go, well, of course, who's yelling that? What's the link? So we have the lamb, the link is the easy, but who is saying that? And I think of this big set of lips, and it's on the back of well, of course, we have water there. What holds back water? A dam, right? And so I picture a big set of lips on this dam, and it's the dam yelling. Dam yell is the same as Daniel. Daniel, the book of Daniel. Remember Daniel in Lion's Den? So that's the next 15 books. That's part 2. Let's just review them real quick, all right? We've got 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, the tree. The tree's wearing shoes, Proverbs. The shoes are being tripped by elastic or Ecclesiastes. The elastic band is being held by a singing fish, Song of Songs. The fish is jumping out of ice, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentation. The lamb is inside the jar. The lamb is hearing somebody saying, "Easy or you get killed." And then we have the dam is yelling, so it's dam yell. There we have the next 15 books, part 2. Thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.